All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Small Streamer Diaries podcast. This is episode 20, and today we have our good friend Captain Clutch 64. Cap, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So, Cap has been on the podcast before. He did the episode about building a community, and I decided to bring him back for this episode, which is how to stay positive as a live streamer. And I want to bring him on for this one because I am a very hateful and negative person. So I needed somebody who is very positive and good at motivating other people. So I thought of Cap. So Cap, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so I need to tell you a story about recording this episode before we start. So okay. I had a dream last night about recording this podcast, this specific episode. So I dreamed that I forgot that we were doing this. I forgot that we were recording this. I just didn't show up. And then when I remembered, I went to you and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just completely forgot we were recording the episode today." And then you said to me, "Well, unfortunately, Rebecca, I'm going to have to charge you $175. And I was like, never. What? Why? And you were like, well, that was a lot of time that I could have used to schedule, doing a lot of other content. And I think that you should pay for half of what I'm paying for the apps that I use to create content."
Wow. In your dreams, I'm a money man.
I think, I don't know. I guess I was just like really concerned about forgetting that we were recording this or something. I don't know.
$175 just for a recording.
I know. And that was a very specific number too that I dreamed of. But it's funny that I was like, oh, I brought Cap on too because he's so positive about everybody. He loves helping people. And then I'm like, you charged me $175 because I forgot we were recording this today.
Wow. No, I don't think I could ever tell someone like, "Oh, you owe me $175." I couldn't do that. There's no way. That's not the Captain Clutch.
Yes.
It's not the real Captain Clutch in your dreams.
Yeah. If you guys don't know Cap, please know that it's not, my dream was not an accurate portrayal of who Cap is. So that was just I have really weird dreams. So
it's weird. I don't really dream very often.
Really?
It's very, very rare for me to dream. And typically, I know this sounds really weird. I mean, I can go like a year without dreaming.
Yeah.
But when I do, it's super trippy and I'm typically dying.
Oh, okay.
I know that sounds really bad, but yeah, I don't ever really dream. It's weird.
Yeah. Dreams are just weird.
They are. Our bodies are full of tons of different chemicals. So
yeah. So anyway, what else have you been up to? What's new with you? What have you been playing?
Streaming stuff. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4. I've been really hooked on that game lately. It's really fun. A lot of building, a lot of questing, a lot of shooting. So it kind of
another settlement needs your help.
Another settlement needs your help. So helping out Preston Garvey and all of that. And other than that, I have side business I've been dealing with and trying to get my YouTube channel going as much as I can. So I've just been busy running around. Seems like with my head chopped off.
How's the YouTube channel going?
It's going good. We're things are looking up. So I'm really happy. That's the one thing out of the entire streaming thing that I have going on that is just really shining bright. So I'm really happy about that.
Wow. Okay. Imagine that. The one thing is YouTube.
The one thing. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Twitch is shining bright for me too. My community is always there, always showing up, and we're doing good. We're playing Fallout. We're having fun together, so I can't really complain about that.
Yeah.
It's just everything else that in my life has kind of felt like a tornado lately. So that's okay.
Yeah,
we're getting it together.
All right, cool. Well, let's start with some questions then, because we actually have a podcast thingy to do. Okay, so like I said, our topic is how to stay positive as a live streamer content creator, because it is very, very easy to become negative and feel like
Absolutely.
you're going nowhere when you're a content creator. So my first question for you, Cap, is how often do you feel negative or at least not positive about live streaming or content creation?
All the time.
All the time.
It's an easy thing. It's easier to be bad and it's easier to be negative. It's easier to frown than it is to smile. So all of these things, it's easier to do the wrong thing. But you have to keep in mind, you have to separate yourself from what is typical. You know what I mean? Everyone on social media is already negative. Everyone else is already there. So why not be add that spice of difference in people's life. So I always try to be optimistic with things, try to keep my head up and try to help those around me, because ultimately we're all in this together, trying to build each other up. We're trying to all figure this out together. So why would I spend time sabotaging or tearing other people down when I can build them up? And maybe when they make it, they can give me a piece of advice that will help me make it. It's just beneficial all the way around. I always look at things from a perspective of, is this going to help me? Is this going to help me grow? Or is this going to benefit me or my circle in some sort of way, form, or fashion? And being negative and tearing people down, or, you know, just spewing hatred online, as a lot of internet trolls do, that doesn't create fruition in any sort of way. So
Mm-hmm.
I just don't gravitate towards that. So
Yeah.
that's how I see it.
Okay. But
It's not
in
useful.
like every day, in some way, shape, or form, you do feel like
Well, I
some
mean,
negativity.
I think everyone goes through on a daily basis. I think in your head, it's easy to. I'm not saying I do it, but I'm just saying it's one of your first thoughts in your head that it's easy to go, oh, well, that person only got to partner because of this, or
Mm-hmm.
oh, that person is only a YouTube partner because of this, or this person is only that. It's easy to compare yourself online. We live in a world where people live fake lives all the time. People say fake things all the time. And people create this dream world for themselves that make other people envious. So it's very easy in your head to say, I want that. It's very easy to be jealous. It's very easy, comes natural. But just because it comes easy doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, my first thoughts might be, oh man, they only did that. It's a negative thought. But then I'm like, oh, you know what? Everyone online is already doing that. Everyone online is already spitting hatred towards other people. Why would I join that? So let me flip that around and, maybe reflect on my own life. Maybe, because I think everyone struggles with a little bit of that online. So
Yeah.
if you can flip it around and make someone else's day positive, or make your own day positive, I think that's a win-win. So
Yeah. I agree.
yeah,
So, have you ever felt so negative that it prevents you from going live?
no,
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 never?
I've never been that negative. Well, because I feel like that kind of negativity is negativity towards yourself.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's okay to have that first thought of negativity, but it's the actions that speak louder than anything else. My mom always told me, if you ain't got nothing good to say, then don't say it at all, right? So my thing is, if you think negative but you speak negative, then that's not doing anything for you but bringing you and everyone else around you down.
Mm-hmm.
If you speak positivity, you can think negative, but even if you speak positivity, it's not fake to do that, because it's human nature to do that. But as long as your actions speak louder than your words, you I'm trying to think of how to form this into a correct sentence, but pretty much, you know, speak it into existence. Speak positive things, do positive things. But yeah, it's never stopped me from going live. I've never had my own self reflection be like, oh man, I'm not good enough, or I'm not this, or I'm
Yeah.
not that. I've always spoken highly of myself, because I feel like you should speak highly of yourself. You should build up yourself. You should understand your own value. I think that's very important. Uh, so yeah, it's never stopped me from going
Yeah.
forward with things.
I don't think I've ever not gone live either because I mean, I'm the same way as you. Like, I feel negative all the time. I mean, at least, well, I think when we say all the time, we say like we experience it in some form every day, but we're not like
Right.
so negative all the time, 100% of the time that we are like attacking people on Twitter or things like that. Like,
Yeah.
we just feel, negative at points of the day. Like, maybe we're not growing as fast as we'd like. Maybe,
Right.
we see somebody else hitting partner before we do and they started later than us or like something like that.
Yeah, and that's just your inner demon, I guess you can say. But I think we're all critical on ourselves and have an expectation of where we should be because we're trying to align that value with expectation. And I think it's easy to be negative, and I think everyone is a bit negative in their head. But like I said, not everyone speaks it out. Not everyone puts it into action. So like me, I might have a negative thought about myself, but I'm never going to type online and say, "Oh, I just can't stand myself today," or "I can't stand Kylie Jenner or whoever." I'm not gonna spew hatred towards other people because it's not. It doesn't it doesn't do anything but bring other people down. It doesn't help me whatsoever. Now I'm sure some people gain followers from hatred. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to do that. So I don't think it is full of fruition at all. So
Yeah. I think it definitely does work to get followers and attention when you're very negative. I mean, people build entire YouTube channels off
oh,
of like making videos, negative videos about people.
sure, but think about how horrible your life has to be outside of that social media. Like although people might be feeding your ego and might be feeding into that hatred and making you feel good because you're blowing up and getting likes, but think about whenever you turn the computers off and whenever you're sleeping or whether or when you're going throughout your day, you have all of that negativity and hatred built. Like truly what does that do for you? That is not fulfilling in your life at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything beneficial for you besides, you know, make some internet troll that's probably some underage teenager laugh at home for a second. It does nothing for your life to be negative towards other people or towards yourself. So
Yeah. And I think
I don't see it.
yeah. And I think it's very like short term
It
kind
is.
of like, okay, you'll get a lot of followers and attention on the short term and then maybe you'll make another video about somebody else that's very negative and like, oh, like this person is actually a horrible person because, and then you make a video about it, but like then people will see that and they're not going to want to work with you or like collab with you.
Yeah, I know my community first and foremost, our community and our brand represents positivity, wholesomeness, and I know there's a lot of communities out there, but none of them are truly 100%. You know what I mean? A lot of them say, "Oh, we don't, we're only positive," and then you go in their community and they have all sorts of toxic things going on. So our community represents that to a T. I don't allow any sort of toxicity into our community. I play games that I stay away from games that promote toxicity. So like some games you would say like FPS games, shooter games. I'm still very very talented at FPS games. I love playing them from time to time. Valorant, CS:GO, Call of Duty, Apex, you name it. But the one thing that's in common with all of these games is toxicity. You go into them, there's a lot of toxic chats. There's a lot of, it's a whole meme and a half when you go online and you see a Call of Duty chat and they're all blowing up and cussing at each other and just bringing each other down. And it's all for the name of laughter. I get it. People just try to have a good time and laugh. But truly, you're tearing apart someone's day. You're
Mm-hmm.
tearing apart someone's, I don't know, you're bringing people down, and I don't like that. So the community that I've built, it's taken me a lot of time to build it up, but all of the people that are in my community are 100% wholesome people. I can truly vet and vouch for each and every single one of them that they are good people. And that is what I'm pretty proud of my community. Is they're not just, they would, the people that are in my community aren't snakes, they aren't wolves, they aren't the people that would throw you under the bus. They are true good people, and I
Hmm.
like that. I'm very proud of that. So
I agree. And you you and your community, you are very much like, you promote and advocate a lot for positive, like genuine positivity, and that's why I thought of you for this episode. I mean, there's a lot of false positivity out
there
there
is
in the streaming space.
so many people on Twitter that are like, "Oh, we've got a positive community and all that sort of thing," and then
Yeah,
they're just super two faced. I can't stand two faced people.
me
I love
neither.
what you see out of me is what you get. I'm always going to be brutally honest. I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm the most honest guy. I will not lie. I will always tell the truth, um, even when it's easy to lie. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
just
mean,
what
if
it
you
is.
look at every like Twitch channel bio out there ever, it's always like, I'm building a tight knit positive community with good vibes. That's literally like every single Twitch bio.
Yeah, and it seems like no one lives up to it.
Yeah.
That's what my problem is with the positive side of streaming. Is that no one lives up to that, and then not only that, but I don't believe in. I know everyone nowadays. I know this is kind of off topic, but everyone nowadays says, "Oh, it's all about being unique on streaming, whether it be on YouTube or Kick or Twitch or whatever. It's all about being unique." And it's like I don't believe that there is a true uniqueness anymore. I don't believe that. I think those days disappeared with Doctor Disrespect, Summit 1G, all those guys. I think it disappeared a while back. But I think that people underestimate the value of themselves being unique in a way. Everyone is unique technically. You know what I mean? You're different than I am. Some of your interests and likes and things are stuff that your community is going to like for you. Your community isn't going to like the stuff that I like. They might not like a big old husky dude playing guitar and playing Fallout 4. For you see what I'm saying? So everyone's kind of unique in their own way. But I think that it's important that we shed a light of positivity on each of our communities in our own way, form, or fashion. And that aspect of us makes us unique. We don't have to dress up in a different cosplay or create some sort of new character that the streaming world has never seen before. I think those days are kind of gone. So I
Yeah.
think that it's really down to the uniqueness of your personality along with the sort of negativity or positivity you bring to your community. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
completely
that's
agree
what
with you.
separates you.
Think that I don't think we ever can be like truly original anymore. I mean, there's
No.
so many people in the world, and we're all thinking about stuff. And I mean, I don't think we could ever I don't think, okay, let me put it this way. I don't think we could ever do something that is like truly unique and new that somebody
Mm-hmm.
else hasn't done before, but there's no other you in the world. So like,
Right.
I'm for example, I'm playing Hades right now, and I'm gonna do a Hades review video. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like 1,000 Hades review videos, but none of them are by me, right? Like, there's
Exactly.
no
There you
other
go.
Rebecca MC
There's no
Hades
other one
review
out there.
video.
One of a kind.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, being you, that is the unique part.
Right.
I mean, the content itself might not be unique, but you doing it is the unique part of it.
Yeah, I just think that the days of being unique and I hear people say like, "Oh, I'm thinking about streaming, but I don't offer anything to the streaming world. I'm not unique." If you think that the streaming world is oversaturated and you don't think that you have enough uniqueness to make something of yourself, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, but don't ever start. If you have the mindset and everything comes down to mindset. If you have the mindset of I'm never going to make it because this field is oversaturated, you don't ever need to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple, because that is the quitting before starting mentality, and I don't believe in that at all.
Yeah.
There could be if I wanted to become a carpenter and there was 40 billion people, let's just say on this earth that were doing carpentry, I'm going to be the best carpenter. I'm going to be the best. That's my mindset. I'm gonna stand out in some way, form, or fashion to be the best amongst all of them.
Yeah.
So if you go into the mindset of quitting before starting, you just don't get into it. You
Yeah.
just need to change your mindset. So that's just
Yeah.
how I see it.
Yeah. We did go a little bit off topic there.
Yeah,
But you know what? That
sorry
could
about
be
that.
like its own episode. I should write that down. So okay, so let me ask you another question. So
Okay.
when you are feeling negative, do you share those thoughts with your community, or do you just, I mean, maybe not those thoughts exactly, but do you share with your community like, I'm feeling a little bit negative today?
No, I don't think I typically do. I think people kind of underestimate their community. You got to think these are people watching you for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours almost every day. They're no dummies. They know when you are upset. They know when you're sad. They know when you're happy. They know when you're genuine about what you are portraying yourself to be. And so whenever I'm upset or feeling some sort of way, form, or fashion, they know. They
Hmm.
ask me, and if they ask me, they say, "Hey, are you okay today?" Then I'll be honest and say it. But I'm not gonna just come out here and be like, "Oh, here's all my problems," blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna do that. But if my community asks me, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's just how I see it. I'm not gonna just offload a bunch of stuff because they're getting off of work. They're there to be entertained and to have a good time, and I'm there to give them that entertainment. So it's not my job to just be like, oh, this happened today, blah blah blah. This happened today. I'm just so upset about that. I think that that brings down the overall atmosphere of your stream and the overall quality of your stream. So I think unless someone asks, then I just kind of keep it to myself.
Yeah.
But I think that they know before even having to ask. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
one of those read the room things, and I think that our my chat is smart enough to read the room. I think that they know me more than people would give them credit to. See, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's not exactly conducive to the philosophy of positivity if you like start your stream and you're like starting off with a whole bunch of negative stuff.
Right.
That doesn't
No
that
one,
doesn't really
no
jive
one
with
wants to
your
watch that.
positivity message.
Yeah.
Um
I don't know. That's just how I see it.
yeah, no, it makes sense. So, what are some methods that you use to stay positive?
Speak it into existence. So this doesn't mean that if I say tomorrow I'm going to have a Ferrari, it doesn't quite literally mean that I'm going to have a Ferrari. But if I tell myself every single day, hey, you know, I just try to keep in my head, bring something positive to the table in every situation that I'm presented with. And then always speak highly of those around you and yourself. I think that that's important. Um, I think a lot of streamers have this, this notion that by just working on yourself and using people around you, you'll blow up. But I think that that's a false premise. If you truly build those up around you and spread positivity around the people, spread positivity to the people around you, you will come up naturally with their growth. You won't even really have to try.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of the um, I guess that's kind of what I live by is just trying to tell myself to be positive and speaking things into existence, speaking positivity, speaking highly of myself and those around me, and yeah, just trying to be a positive influence on the world. I
Yeah.
think that's super important. So,
So, speaking positively of those around you, how do you
mm,
find those people to surround yourself with?
takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time. I have so my Discord. I think Discord's an excellent example of this. So at one point, I had I think a little over 1,000 people in my Discord. So the first time I had 500, and then I cut it down to about 100, and I cut out all of the people that were either negative or not bringing some sort of positivity, or they just joined in, never said a single message. I would never cut people from not being active, but there's some people that join your Discord that will never say a word in an entire year. Those sort of people it's okay to go ahead and cut because they're not doing anything for your community. That's just how I see it. So I did that one other time. I've basically waded through and cut through all of the toxic and positive people. And typically, if people are negative or we have questions about, we do a pretty good job of vetting those people. And Ocean and Wind, who also helped me out tremendously with all the day-to-day stuff, they do a very good job because their morals and everything align with mine. So we do a good job of kind of finding those people that we want in our community.
Mm-hmm.
It's more or less credited to Ocean and Wind. So.
Yes. Who are your mods?
Who are my mods? Yeah.
Yes, they're also great
people. They go
people.
above and beyond mods. they do way more than just mod duty. I trust them with everything. So
yeah. All right. So, what would you tell somebody who is thinking about giving up streaming due to a lack of growth?
If the only reason was lack of growth, and it wasn't that they've lost passion, I think a lot of people say that it's lack of growth, but I think that there's always underlying issue of either laziness or not truly doing everything that they possibly can to ensure growth. Or because a lot of people say, oh man, I'm working so hard day and night, day and night, day and night. I only have one viewer. Well, it's like, what are you doing to grow? Are you truly trying to learn and grow? Or are you just trying to, are you saying that you're trying? I think everyone's version of that is different. And I always think that there's an underlying issue because typically if it's just, oh, I'm not growing, that it's not as simple as just that one answer. You know what I mean? There's typically multiple answers underneath that. So if that was the only reason was that they weren't growing, well, I'd say that that's not a sufficient enough answer to quit. I think that they should continue looking and searching and finding out why they aren't growing. And then once they find out why they aren't growing, either A, admit that you don't want to try to push past why you're not growing once you have that answer, or number two, find ways to push past that and keep going. I'm never one to, I will never preach to people and tell them it's okay to quit. I don't believe in quitting. I don't believe in failing. I don't believe in failure unless failing is only truly failure when you quit. And I don't like quitting. I've never really quitted anything. So it's okay to change direction and change your mind on things. But if you truly want something in life, I believe in chasing it to the utmost of everything that you have within yourself to give it your 100% all. Because I don't believe that people give their 100% all anymore. I don't believe that people really do that as much anymore. So I've ran across a lot of streamers, especially with the YouTube videos that I make, that people ask me like, oh, well, how do I push past my goals? How do I grow past this point? And it's like, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm streaming this game that's completely oversaturated. Well, do you have a YouTube channel to help you kind of funnel people in, or are you growing from your YouTube channel? Well, no. Well, what kind of videos are you making? What are you editing? Are you trying to learn how to edit? Are you streaming and content creation? It's not a simple thing. And if all you're doing is just streaming and playing a game or making a video and throwing it out there, well, there's no sort of heart to what you're doing. You have to be able to show your passion through your streaming, and you have to be able to show your passion through your content creation. Look at you. You truly care about other streamers, and you are making these videos with other streamers to get their takes. It's showing your heart in each and every single one of these videos that you're making. So by doing that, you are naturally going to attract people from the goodness of your heart. You are going to attract people.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'm just being honest. And the same goes for people streaming. But if you aren't able to show your passion, if you aren't able to show your heart, you are not going to attract people to your community. It's just not going to happen.
So it sounds like the negativity that people feel about a lack of growth comes from them not doing as many thing? Like you're finding that people generally are not doing as many things as they could be doing.
I think it's a multivariate equation because there's some people that are genuinely doing everything that they know to do and they aren't growing. Um, but then at the same time, I have to beg the question: Are you looking at every single video on YouTube to try to ensure your growth? Are you trying to talk to people and make genuine connections and genuine friendships? Or are you just saying, oh, well, I watched a few videos and hanging up the towel and saying I'm not growing? Well, that's not good enough to me. It's the same thing as if you were to go into a job, do a few things, and then the boss is like, well, I'm not going to pay you your full salary because you only did a quarter of the job. And then you say, well, I did everything that I know to do. Well, did you ask your manager? Did you ask, did you do the things to ensure a full paycheck? That's kind of how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect growth if you're not doing everything in your ability to ensure that. So I think that it comes down to hard work, and then it comes to how bad you want your passion to become a successful thing.
Yeah.
And that goes to anything, business building or streaming, content creation, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you are only just throwing a video out there on YouTube, hoping, if I were to say, hey, streamers, I can help you out by doing this. And then that's all I did. No edits, no nothing, no quality, no heartfelt thing. Well, then no one's going to watch that video. There's no quality of life. There's quality and then there's quality of life. You have to have both of those things through everything that you do with video or content creation. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where I'm
So
at.
that actually is related to my next question, which is about burnout, because I think both you and I noticed recently that a lot of people are burning out lately. Like we see every single day on our Twitter
Yeah.
feeds, we see every single day like streamers announcing that they are done, they're quitting. Why do you think so many people are burning out right now?
Um, Again, I think this is a multivariate answer. I don't think it comes down to just one answer, but some people think that some people go into to streaming or content creation with the wrong mindset. Oh, I'll become partner on YouTube in 3 months, which we both know it doesn't happen. Yeah, I think IQ or no, I can't remember his name. You've posted a few of his videos on Twitter, but he said make your first 100 videos and then come talk to me about viewers and all that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to get your experience up. And I think that a lot of streamers underestimate the amount of work going into streaming or content creation. I'm trying to bring in both streaming and content creation, but I think that people underestimate what it takes to be successful on with both of those jobs. And I think that if you're a streamer and you go in with the mindset of making money, I think that you're ultimately going to fail. I think it's good to keep money in your mindset, but if that is all you're going for, you are ultimately going to be dissatisfied and you're going to probably most likely fail. Because it takes a long time to make money on streaming. It takes a long time to make money on content creation. Um, your first and utmost goal should be, what value do I provide? That should be your first question going in with that mindset. Once you create your value and understand what that is, well, then you can build your brand off of that, and then you can market it to everybody. Once you market it, then that's when money comes in. But you have to be able to build those building blocks up first. Because if you go in, oh, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to be the next Shroud, let me play some FPS for a little bit, it's not going to happen. Those days are gone. So it's all about people burn out or people quit because they have the wrong mindset going in. That's a broad answer, but it pretty much sums it up why. I think people fail and quit because they go in with the wrong mindset.
Yeah. So I want to comment on a couple of things you said here. So first of all, when you're talking about doing the building blocks and then first you're providing value and then you can start marketing and then you can start making money, things like that. That could be like a whole nother episode that we might have to do. So thank you for that idea.
Yep.
Another comment I want to make is that it sounds like people have a lot of false expectations when they start content creation or streaming, and then that starts feeding into negativity, like, oh, well, I didn't get partner in 3 months, and they start becoming very jaded, cynical, negative about it, and then that leads to quitting or burnout.
Well, yeah. Well, typically people hold some sort of idol in their eyes first. So, I mean, let me ask you, why did you get into YouTubing? What one person was it, Ludwig, that you looked at and I was like, oh, I kind of want to, if I can be like Ludwig. Typically, most people, I'll let you answer, but typically most people get into the fields because of an idol that they look up to. So is that fair to say that you looked at some YouTubers like Mr. Beast or Ludwig or whoever that got into YouTube and you were like, oh,
Yeah,
I think I could do this.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was like one person. I saw like
Mhm.
many content creators, like the top of the top, but it is in like the Ludwig Mr. Beast category. But I did see them creating content and playing games, but like I was looking at Twitch first. Like I started on Twitch and I saw lots of streamers with like thousands of viewers, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, I love playing video games. Like I could do this too. And
Yeah.
that's all I thought it was. Like I also had a lot of false expectations at the start, because that's
Everyone does.
that's what well, that's what a lot of people told me, is like, oh, you just go play games on Twitch and you make money. That's literally what
Yeah.
people told me it was, and I was very upset, like, when,
Just that
because
easy. Yeah, be a billionaire.
yeah, because I was like, well, I don't, I just, I mean, I'm kind of like you. I don't like to like pretend stuff. So I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
understand why I was told, you just go on Twitch and you just play games and you make money. It was very upsetting for me, because I was like, I just don't understand why I was given like these false expectations. And then I go on Twitch and like nothing is happening. Like, and I wasn't told at first, like, oh, you need to go make other content. I only found this out later, when
Yeah.
I was streaming, and like nobody's coming in, and I'm like, why is my channel not growing? So I went and did my own research and found out it's much more complicated than I
Very
expected.
complex.
Yeah.
Streaming and content creation is probably it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I've worked a lot of really grueling jobs. Um, Content creation and streaming is one of the hardest things I've done, but one of the most satisfying things I've ever done at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, but to go back to your question of why do you think people are quitting is um, I think it's just that. I think it's just expectations. I think everyone kind of goes in. My friends kind of pushed me into content, or not content creation, but action content creation and streaming at first. I forgot about that. So I started out playing FPS games, right? And I truly thought that you could just play the game and become known as long as you were talented at that video game. Well, I was playing a game called Call of Duty Blackout, which at the time I held records. I was very, very good. I was one of the top players of the game. I was grinding it all the time. Well, push comes to shove, here I am with 1 or 2 viewers. I'm not being seen on Mixer or Twitch. I streamed on YouTube. I wasn't getting seen or found on any of those platforms when I was streaming FPS. And I was like, why am I not getting found? I'm literally one of the best players to play this game. Which it wasn't a very, very popular game. It had kind of died out. And then I was also creating YouTube videos. I was just regurgitating content. I don't consider it content, but when people take, I know it sounds terrible. If you just take a clip, this is just my own thought. If you take your VOD and you repost it onto YouTube, that's not content creation. That's
Mm-hmm.
regurgitating content you've already made. And now if you heavily edit it, that's something different. But anyways, I was just regurgitating content and expecting views to come, and they didn't. So I thought I was putting in a lot of work, but I wasn't. So I went in with the wrong expectations of streaming, thinking that I would just blow up. That's hence why my name is Captain Clutch, is because my buddies were like, "Oh, you're always clutching the games, and you're always leading the team, to the victory and all that sort of thing." So I just kind of kept that name, even though it derives from FPS from a couple of years back. But I kept it, even though I'm nothing like the streamer I started as. I just kept it. So Yeah, I think expectations. I think that's the biggest one. I think if you go in with a positive mindset, you ultimately have positive results. So
Yeah. So have
go
you
in
ever
thinking
come close to burnout?
burnout. No, I have kind of stepped back on things, but I've never burned out on anything.
Yeah.
I've always streamed. Now, if I get busy, or I'm realistic with my chat. If I get busy in real life, because I have other things, other business stuff outside of streaming and content creation. So if I get busy, I let my community know, and I always return to streaming. I've never taken like weeks break or anything like that. I think I had COVID one time a couple of years back, like I think a year ago or 2 years ago. One of the Christmases I streamed, I had COVID really bad. I was just looking terrible.
Mm.
Anyways, I kept streaming even though I was sick because like I genuinely am passionate about streaming. I love streaming. So I've never really been burned out. Now on Twitter, I was posting every single 2 to 3 hours a day. I would let each post kind of settle out with the algorithm for about 3 hours and then post again. And I was blowing up that way. I was making a lot of different streamer posts and all that sort of thing. I'm sure that's probably how you found me. Um, but now I don't do that. I've kind of stepped back to making a post a day, if not none. So I've kind of stepped back from certain platforms and tried to work with other platforms. So I've never really burned out. Now
Yeah.
content creation, I've kind of fallen behind on some stuff, but it's because freaking editing takes forever.
Yeah.
But I hate editing. I'll
Me
admit
too.
that. I absolutely hate it. I love content creation. I love making the video, but I hate editing with a
Yeah.
passion. Hate it.
Yeah, I don't even really, I mean, my editing skills are like super extremely basic, but even then I don't like it. Like the most editing I do is like I create shorts and then I just like clip some stuff together. And that's the most I ever do with editing.
Well, I'm really good at editing and I'm really good at Photoshop, really good at After Effects and all these different programs, but I genuinely hate using them. I really do. Now, like even my YouTube videos I do, they're not like extravagant edits. Like I just do basic edits. I might throw in my plug for my Twitch and then, a like and subscribe and then a few little fades or something like that, but nothing fancy.
Yeah.
But that's because it's like I can do it, I can make it, but I feel like I do a good enough job of explaining and getting to the point of my video. I'm trying to educate people with streaming stuff, same as you.
Mm.
Um, I feel like if I do a good enough job explaining, I don't really need to throw in 100 edits. I feel like some people over edit their videos and it kind of takes away from the heart of their videos. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
That's
I
just
agree.
not me.
No, I
I
agree
hate
with that.
editing.
Because I think that when it comes to content, like people are looking for something, right? So let's go back to a little off topic here, but if we go back to what you said about, providing value, you have to
Mhm.
provide us, but it's like a specific value. Like I had to find this out for myself too. Like it's you either have to provide some kind of information that people are looking for or an entertainment value. But when it comes to providing value, people think that just like going live and playing a game, they're like, oh, that's my value. Like I'm playing a game and I'm saying hi to people that come into my chat. And that's not
That's
really,
not it.
that doesn't
No.
constitute content. Like people are looking for something specific.
Mhm.
So I think as long as you can get your content across, then I mean, I agree. Like the editing isn't as important. If you're like, let's
I don't
say
think it's as
somebody's
important.
looking for like information on how do I do something, and then as long
Mhm.
as you can provide that information, it doesn't really matter what the video looks like. If you can
Yeah.
teach it to them, they're not going to care what the video looks like. They just want to know, how do I do this? And if you can communicate that to them and they're able to do it, they're not going to care.
Yeah. I watched someone's video. They were trying to give information about I don't remember what it was. It was something to do with streaming, but they had I'm not even joking. Every minute they had an edit. But it was like either a sound alert like boo OBS or something cheesy like that. And I couldn't even get through the whole video because it was just like this is too much, man.
Yeah.
Just give me the information that I need, So I think that some people kind of get hung up on that. I think a lot of the times, not sometimes, I think a lot of the times, simple speaks more. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the streamers that have 100 different overlays on their screen and everything's moving and their camera's like this small. And you see the gameplay is just a little bit bigger, but they have like a forest and things moving and birds flying on their screen because it's all overlays. It's like, dude, that's way too much, way too much. And I think that streamers kind of do the same thing along with content creators with their edits.
Yeah. But thumbnails too. Like people try to put too much stuff in thumbnails.
Oh yeah, distractions. That's all it is. Just distractions.
See, this could be a whole other episode. So I have to write all this down. Okay, so aside from what we've talked about already, which is a lot, so hopefully you remember everything that we talked about, but what is something that you think people should know about staying positive as a live streamer or a content creator that you think that most people don't know?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure how to answer that, to be honest. I think that changing your mindset can change your life. And I don't think that people really take into an account of changing their mindsets because a lot of people are so set in their ways. But I think that it goes way outside even just streaming or content creation. I think if you're a positive person, I think genuinely positive things will come to your life. And I think that if you apply that to streaming, then positive things will happen to you. If you're good to people, yes, will people be bad to you sometimes? Of course. But for the most part, if you're good to people, people will be good to you. And I think that especially in a field that you're working with other people constantly. So like for instance, I'm doing this video with Rebecca right now. She is only doing this video with me because I've provided some sort of positivity or information to her to go like, okay, well, let me become friends with this guy. You know what I mean? So that, I mean, that's why we're doing this video right now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that if you can take that, so technically, to your question, I've met you through positivity, right? So I think that that has yielded some sort of fruition because here we are making a video together, and I think we're pretty good friends.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that if you can take that positive mindset and apply it to all aspects of your life, I think positive things will come of it. So I think that's just important all the way around.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. I mean, if I came to you with some sort of negative comment on your tweets and you would not agree to be on this podcast.
Sure. Yeah, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Who knows?
I mean, well, if I was always like coming at you in Twitter and I was always like posting negative tweets like on your tweets, I think and then I was like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? I think you would have been like, no, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, that's true. I probably wouldn't. But you're a nice person. You're a
Thank
good person.
you.
You're one of the good ones.
Oh, thank you. I mean, we can't let people know that I have a reputation to keep up. So, all right. So, I mean, let's ask this another way then. Like, what is something that you wish somebody had told you about positivity before you started streaming? And it might be the same answer.
What is something that, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
What is something that you wish somebody had told you about staying positive before you started streaming and content creation?
I think that I wish that I didn't have anybody helping me out with streaming when I first started. So if I would have had someone telling me that if I were to start out being positive and trying to gain friendships through positivity, I would have been ahead of where I'm at now. I started out in the FPS world for almost an entire year. So in a very toxic world. And I pretty much, after leaving that whole scene, had to restart my entire community, my brand, everything. So it's basically a year down the drain that doesn't matter. Followers that didn't matter because they're not ever going to watch. My FPS followers are never going to watch me play, Fallout or Valheim or whatever. So it's kind of some wasted time, but I learned that in that it took me a year to learn that positivity makes the world go round. I think that in being genuine with it, which I was already a positive person, I just never applied it to streaming. You know what I mean? And so I think that if someone would have told me that, hey, if you're positive and you build positive friendships, then positive things will come of it. I would have been ahead of where I'm at, I think. So,
Yeah.
but I also think that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in my career. So I can't. It's kind of one of those things. So
So when you were, in the FPS world, did you feel like you were a negative person then?
I felt like it was kind of out of place. I had the buddies that I was playing with. They were very much toxic, and I thought it was just funny stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But after a while, I realized that they were kind of hating on other people, and it might be fun to temporarily laugh at, but overall, I didn't really think about the impact that that has on other people's lives and stuff. And then not only that, but after playing and realizing that I wasn't, I don't know, I just didn't really mix well with that atmosphere. So, and even my own family that would watch me sometimes, my sister, she was like, hey, and she was a streamer at one time. She was like, hey, you don't really seem like you fit in with the FPS crowd. Maybe you ought to
Hmm.
try something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I ended up trying something else out, and I just meshed so well with the adventure building crafting scene. I love to build. I love that, like in that community, the adventure building crafting, Valheim, Conan, Ark, all those games, they're very positive. Like all the people that I've met through those games have been very positive. I've never really received any sort of hatred. Of course, you get one or two little negative people every once in a while, but for the most part, it's very positive. So
Hmm.
I think that's it. I think if I would have just stuck with positivity to begin with
Yeah.
and learned that lesson, I think if someone would have told me that, then I would have been light years ahead of where I'm at currently.
Yeah.
So
Well, that is some really great advice. And I am actually at the end of my questions. So, Cap, do you have
the end.
anything that, well, I mean, it's not the end of, like, I'm, of course, we're going to bring you on for another episode at some
I
point, but
got
that's
you.
the end of this episode. So, do you have anything else that you want to bring up or discuss, or do you have any questions for me?
I think the overall message of today's video would be uh, bring something positive to the table, spread the positivity to other people. Good things will come of that, and then work hard for the things that you truly want in life. Uh, Work hard, keep your head down, stay positive, live positive, and do things that will not only benefit you but benefit those in your circle around you. So I think that's kind of the overall message
That's a
of
great message.
today.
And I want to add on to this by saying that um, being critical of something is not the same thing as being negative, because I mean, like,
No,
I'm a very critical person, and I mean, I think everybody on my channel has noticed I criticize Twitch a lot. But
sure.
like, I'm still on Twitch because I support, my friends on there. Like, you still stream on there. I still go on there and watch your streams. And
I
but
stream a little
like,
bit of everywhere.
yeah. But I have other friends on Twitch that I go to, but you know, and then I'm also critical of certain things in the streaming space, like false positivity. I think we talked about it a little bit, but like, people are spewing false positivity everywhere. Like, they're giving people false expectations. I see a lot of bigger content creators who are like, "Oh, I didn't even do anything to get partner. I just went live and I played games and people just flocked to me and gave me money and my life is so wonderful and I have so much
Yeah,
fun all the time." And I'm like, I just don't really like that kind of, like, false positivity put out there, because then it gives people false expectations and they think they
indeed.
just go play games. And so, but I mean, I'm not like, I wouldn't say, uh, it's, I guess it's kind of a negative thing because I'm like speaking out against it, but I'm not just, there's a reason for it. Like, I think it is not productive
Well,
to
yeah,
other
I
people.
think that's totally okay to have that viewpoint. When people don't put things out there that are necessarily helpful towards the community that you're working with, I think it's important to recognize that. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess in the end it is positive because like I think it is not productive for other people to see that. And in the end, I want a positive outcome for other people that are starting. So I guess in a way it like turns around into being positive. Like I'm critical of things that I think in the end are negative. But I think we shouldn't be afraid to be vocal about things that we feel are wrong. Like I don't it's not the same as being negative.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a total difference between, vocalizing your opinions in a positive light than being critical. There's a difference with being negative and vocalizing yourself, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Huge difference between that, and I don't think that if you're online and you're posting things that aren't benefiting the community that you're working with heavily, then there's no point in doing that. So I think that you should always be trying to benefit those around you and yourself along with those people. So
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to point that out because I feel like it could saying like we want to always be positive and we don't, want to bring negativity to the streaming space. It can come across to some people as like don't ever say anything bad about anything ever. And
yeah,
that is
no, no,
not
no,
what we're
no.
saying.
No, you can be critical of platforms. I think that that's totally okay to say, hey, Twitch has flaws or Kick has flaws or YouTube has flaws. I think that it's okay to point those things out because I think that's how we ultimately get better. That's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
If my best friend was hurting himself by taking, let's say, medicine or something that was hurting him, and I said, hey, stop taking that medicine because it's hurting you, well, then ultimately that's making him better by him not taking that. So I think that if we can criticize in a positive light, I think that that is where it's at.
Yeah.
I think that is totally justifiable to, point out and criticize platforms for wrongdoings that they shouldn't be doing. I think that that's totally okay. As long as it's not like, everyone knows the difference between being critical and being negative. I think everyone knows that difference, but
yeah.
I think it's just genuine intentions is what it comes down to with that.
Yeah.
Same with positivity. If you have someone that's like, oh, I'm a positive person, well, then they're not being positive. They're being really fake with their positivity. Well, then I think that that's not being genuine with their actions. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I just want to point that out because I feel like some, along with the false positivity, it's like some people are just like never saying anything critical ever. And that to them is like being positive. And I'm like, well, that's not really, I mean, we should say when we feel things are wrong, then I think we should say that.
Right.
Sure. Okay. So the time has come then to plug yourself. So what do you have going on? What content do you have coming up? What are you playing next?
I have a lot of plans in the playbook. I don't want to reveal them all. I've got a lot of things I'm kind of keeping hush hush, except for Ocean and Wind. They're the only ones that know. They're the keeper of my secrets. But pretty much, I guess if so. So you want me to plug in my Twitch or YouTube or whatever, right?
I mean, anything you want people to watch you on, or whatever you want people to see coming up next.
You know what? I won't plug myself.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Just well, you guys like and subscribe on Rebecca's page.
Oh, thank you for that. Need to do. I appreciate that. Well, I will have all your links in the description. So I guess you'll just have to find. I guess you'll just have to find out for yourself by clicking on Cap's links and following him everywhere. And definitely follow his Twitter because, I mean, this is why I thought of Cap for this episode is because he posts a lot of positive tweets and motivational tweets, and they're very like genuine. They're not this, kind of fake, like you just gotta grind out those streams, bro. Like that's all there is to it. Like there's not, I mean, you're very realistic
and genuinely write out each and every single one of those.
Yeah.
They're not copy and pasted or anything. I've had someone message that before. Oh, copy and paste. I'm like, where from? Because it came from my old thunker up here. So
yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. As Cap said, please like, subscribe, comment.
Do it. Just
I
do
don't know
it.
what else can you do on a YouTube video.
Rebecca's the best. Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Keep tuned for the next episode. Cap will definitely be on for a future episode because he gave me all these ideas for future episodes. So
Right.
you're gonna have to make some time for that. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please check out Cap. He's an awesome streamer, content creator, a good friend, gives us lots of advice about positivity and lots of other things as well. Really great person. Has a great community as well. I mean, every time I go into your stream, people are like, Rebecca. It's like going to Cheers. You walk in and everybody knows your name. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. See you in the next streamer video. Bye.